The trial of the prosecutor versus Dominic Ongwen continued from the 24th June to the 20th August 2019 at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. During this time, 9 witnesses were called by the Ongwen defense team to give their testimony before the chamber about the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, Joseph Kony, and Dominic Ongwen. Dominic Ongwen, the alleged former commander of the senior brigade of the LRA, is accused of 70 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity allegedly committed during a widespread and systematic attack directed against the civilian population of northern Uganda from at least July 1, 2002 to December 31, 2005, including the attacks against the civilian population in Lukodi, Pajule, Odek, and Abok IDP camps between October 2003 and June 2004. 4 witnesses, Witness D26P0075, D26P0025, D26P0056, and D26P0110, testified about their experiences living in the bush while they were in the LRA. Witness D26P0075 testified about how orders were carried out in the LRA compared to the UPDF.
In the LRA, based on my knowledge, there is only one person who is responsible for these orders. If this person issues those orders, then those orders have been issued. If he orders you to go and drown yourself in a deep river, then that's what you have to do. Because when I came within the LRA, the orders, if there's something that is needed, or if there's something that is, within the UPDF, if there's something that is needed, then there are discussions. And the other big difference is that Kony thinks alone. He issues his instructions alone. He does not discuss things with anybody before making a decision. What he decides, and that's what happens. And that's one of the main differences between the orders. If he wants something to be done, he asks somebody. He will go directly to somebody and ask that person to do it. He does not make a decision saying, I have somebody who is second in command, I have other high-ranking commanders next to me. No, he will go and directly ask whoever he wants to perform a certain task to perform it. He does not follow the hierarchy in the army. And also with respect to battle, he does not say, for example, that if there's an area where civilians are, this is how you have to go and fight. No, there are no rules pertaining to civilians. When Kony sends people for battle, people go and battle. There's no differentiation between civilians and the soldiers. He is the only one who has the rule. He's the only one who is capable of overrunning the whole LRA.
Just to clarify this very last line, did you mean to say, I'm sorry, it said here that he is the only one who is capable of overrunning the whole LRA. Do you mean operating the LRA, or overrunning the LRA?
He is the only one who has authority to issue orders within the LRA. He is the only one. There is nobody else other than him.
Witness D26P0075 further said that when Joseph Kony's orders were not obeyed, there were consequences which included beatings, demotions, imprisonment, and at times even death. Regarding Dominic Ongwen, witnesses D26P0075, D26P0025, and D26P0056 all confirmed that they knew and interacted with the accused while in the LRA at different times of their lives while in the bush. Witness D26P0025 specifically testified that he met the accused years ago when they were young escorts in the LRA. Over the years, they became friends and they knew each other very well. The witness also confirmed that Mr. Ongwen didn't go to Pajule attack because of an injury. In addition, He explained that in the LRA, a commander who is in the sick bay has no authority or command until he is well again to take command. All his responsibilities are then given to another commander until the sick commander is well again.
Where did you stay during the attack of Pajule?
During the attack of Pajule, we stayed behind with those of OT at Wanduku because that is the location where the people who were going for the attack left from at around 5 p.m. And then when they came back at around 10 a.m., they came and found us there because the gunship was following them. Then we left that location and went to the south. We went to the south with everybody else. That's what happened.
How far away is this from Pajule, this Wanduku?
The distance between, I do not know the exact distance between Wandugu and Pajule, but I know that they walked slowly from Wandugu to Pajule and they got there at dawn. So if it's very far, the most that I can estimate is about 7 miles.
And you said you stayed behind at this place called Wanduku with Oti Vincent. How many people stayed behind? Which groups stayed behind with you?
The people that stayed behind, all the people who went to fight were selected from different groups. They took them from Trinco, some were taken from the headquarters, from Control Altar, and some were taken from Sinea. So the groups that were left behind also included Trinco, Sinea, the headquarters, and Control Altar. But people were many. I cannot estimate the exact number of people that were there.
Where did you get the information from what happened in Pajule?
The commander, Bogi, I mentioned his name. I was in Bogi's group. We were in the same brigade. Bogi was the first CO and I was his deputy. So when he came back, he told me what happened. He said, he explained how what happened when they got there, how they were split in two groups, and how the event rolled out.
Mr. Witness, now, during this time, when the group went into Pajule to fight, did you happen to notice where Mr. Ongwen was located?
When they went to Pajule, we stayed behind with those of Ongwen.
What specific reason do you know of why Ongwen wasn't chosen to go to fight?
I believed that I explained earlier that Mr. Ongwen was injured at the time. He had an injury around his knee, so he was unable to go. The rules in the bush were that if you had an injury, if you had a big injury, then you would not be selected to go for battle.
A former counselor at World Vision who intimately interacted with the LRA children that returned from the bush, Mr. Ochirawujok Nicholas, testified during this evidentiary block. He explained that when he joined World Vision initially, he was a developing counselor and his duties included identifying orphans, registering them, and paying their tuition fees. Later on, World Vision established a reception center out of necessity to assist those children that returned from the bush with food, clothing, shelter, as well as psychological counseling. Mr. Ochirawujok reiterated that abducted children needed sympathy and support for them to fully reintegrate into the society.
What was the physical state of the returnees, especially of the children that came to the World Vision Center?
When the children reported from the bush, they were looking terrible. Some had bullet wounds, sore feet, looking very malnourished. stunted growth, very miserable. And looking at them, you'll feel like extending a humanitarian hand to help. Especially the first 125 who came in that year, 128 from Palotaka. They were brought straight to the center, which was located at the unallocated store in Ngulu, Minister of Works. The UPDF provided security, and even the police provided security. The news about these suffering children spread throughout the world. One of the biggest visitors, one of the biggest guests who came in 95 was the US Secretary, Madeleine Albright from the US. She visited it, plus many more.
Mr. Witness, you have told us how the physical state of the returnees, especially the children, was. What about the psychological state of these children, especially?
Realizing that these children were abducted against their choices, and others even left school, and they were forcefully conscripted into the rebel ranks. The child psychologist recommended for a counseling. Based on the African context.
Mr. Witness, maybe I can help out.
The counseling was designed psychotherapy, I'm proud to say it worked very well, because I coordinated the program for some years before I was promoted to handle other things. They were supposed to adjust through the counseling sessions. And according to the child psychologist, full recovery will not take place from the center. And World Vision train community volunteers who would sustain the counseling, plus other institutions like the church, the school, and community would provide sustainability to the counseling that would have begun from the center.
Testifying via video link on how UPDF handled LRA attacks in Teso region was Mr. Ewicho Emmanuel, a former UPDF soldier. He explained that in 2003, he retired from the UPDF, but the same year there were insurgencies in Teso whereby abductions and killings took place, and it was his role to assist the UPDF in restoring peace and stability in his community. The UPDF worked together with Arrow Boys, a paramilitia group consisting of civilians and retired soldiers who were trained by the UPDF to assist in fighting off the LRA rebels from Teso.
How long did the fight against LRA take in Teso?
Ejelo Lawrence Ame na lom na tarteso. Boyanga kagon lukuminiare kedudi esalom na e komanda ngol la nyar tai table keda kejore.
In the year 2003, that is when a commander called Tabule came to Teso with his people.
Now, apart from Tabule, do you know of any other LRA commanders who came to Teso?
Tabule ngarin tajore berengine jasiche commanders da lao patarnges konyela jas kero pona araki na ingine peneni Teso. Nara tabulo da arakintai aboisno mid primary school.
Yes, there were other commanders, but most of them were killed in Teso, because even Tabule himself was killed in a school called Omid Primary School.
Lukumini yare kedi wangon o just do abongor kere Sudan ara de dengi la jay. Mame bobe che kere kiro la pupa kere esi Tabule.
In 2004, that was like the climax of insurgency in Teso. That's the time that the LRA were defeated and went back to Sudan. But the name that was clearly heard and commonly known in Teso was Tabule.
Nari tamti sangi che jok. Ayun be e commanders lo angai kede la angai ngum.
Because
Tabule ngisara commander la polo le ngaren kitilo da pona ararai.
in our investigation, we wanted to know who exactly were these commanders. But Tabule was one of the commanders that was very well known, and everyone knew that he was killed.
Sudan, a pupuna bongo ebe ekamuno bidom Ongwen.
So when the LRA went back to Sudan, then I heard that Dominic Ongwen had also been arrested.
Otoma beit amame Dominic Ongwen or Teso.
In the whole truth, Dominic Ongwen was not in Teso.
Nara itamiti sangi che joka jen bi komadas lo angai ngul.
Because we did a thorough investigation to really understand who were these commanders who were in Teso, but Dominic was not one of them.
That
is the That is the truth, and that is the reason as to why I am in this court. I do not believe that Dominic Ongwen was in Teso, because I was one of the spies. If Dominic Ongwen was in Teso, he would have also been one of the dead in Anyara. Because we had a really dangerous army that was ready to fight the rebels. For emphasis, that gentleman, Dominic Ongwen, was not there. It was later that I heard on radio that Dominic Ongwen had been arrested. and that he was in ICC.
Mam so apote yalam kinos nargen so Dominic Ongwen mamara aran.
We were not happy about that because we knew that Dominic Ongwen was not a killer.
Mr. Tommy Obore, a former local leader in Ngai sub-county where Abok IDP camp was located, testified about the deadly effects of the LRA attack on Abok IDP camp. Mr. Obore, who at the time was a local elected leader of the NRM, National Resistance Movement Party in 1997, and held that position until 2017, testified about what he witnessed after LRA attacked Abok IDP camp.
Well, it was sometime in the night. I cannot recall what time exactly. I was already in bed at my home. One of the leaders I used to be very close with, he was called Major Okello Engola. Right now is a colonel. He called me in the night and asked me that, Chairman, are you hearing what is happening in Abok? I told him, well, yes, I am hearing some gunshots in the direction of Abok. Then he told me that he got a report that Abok was attacked by the rebels. I told him that, well, if that is the case, let me try to get some information from there. But because of the situation right now, I have some brothers who live there, and I tried to get in touch with them, but I could not reach out to them because the situation was really tense there. I got back to him and told him I didn't get a report from there. Then he told me Abok was under attack. Then he told me I should be ready. He's coming to my place at 6 in the morning so we could go to Abok and then we go and see what is there. As a leader, I could not sleep. I waited for him, and at about 6 in the morning, I moved nearby the main road and I waited for him. He arrived in a vehicle. He came in a double cabin, a pickup, a military vehicle. I joined him and we moved to Abok. When we arrived at Abok, we found there was a big problem there. Huts were burnt. There were dead bodies. And as leaders, we were now facing all that. We found about 20 people had been killed. Those are the people I personally saw with my eyes. And he asked me, what do we do? I told him what we have to do is we need to try and establish where they went. As a soldier, he started connecting with the other soldiers who were in other places. But when we arrived there, what we found out there was that the commander who was leading the people there was not there. Mugabe was not there. The people who were there told me that when the attack began, when people were fleeing, they fled together with Mugabe. When people were fleeing, Mugabe also ran away like an ordinary civilian. People didn't understand why that happened. And what Okello Engola did at that time was that he said he was going to Opit barracks to connect with other soldiers so he could get some reinforcement to come and help. That is what I know that happened about Abok.
According to Mr. Obore, the attack lasted for about 30 minutes. Together with his other soldiers, the witness tried to follow the rebels, but they were not able to catch up with them. When asked if later on he heard whether the accused were associated with the Abok IDP camp attack, the witness said that he only heard about Dominic Ongwen when the case came to the ICC. So far, the Ongwen defense team has presented 43 witnesses before the chamber, and they are expected to present about 71 witnesses. The trial will resume on 12 September 2019 with the testimony of the 44th defense witness.